Same exact thing. Holden was delayed because of the polls, and so we're looking at a 30-day working day extension for this contract as well, for contract C.
What's the wish of the council?
Mr. President, I so move.
Sorry.
Got a motion by Alderman Crowder, second by Councilman Hanford for giving time extension for legal construction. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Work order number 1, Holden Electric, additional circuits.
Work order number 1 for Holden Electric is additional circuits, contactors for the new lights. Because we added additional lights onto this particular circuit, we needed more contactors so that if, for whatever reason, if a fuse were to blow out, that it wouldn't take all of the other 6 strings of lights out, so to speak. So we had additional contactors, 1 contactor for each circuit, so that if one circuit breaker blew, it didn't take all of the lights out at once. So they're now separated a little bit more. It would have worked the other way. This is just a little bit better way so that all of our lights don't turn off at one time in the event of a failure. So we're recommending work order number 1 in the amount of $2,665 to be charged to the project.
What's the wish of the council?
I make a motion that we approve this work order number 1 as projected.
Second.
I'll second.
A motion by Councilwoman Doucette, second by Alderman Crowder. Work order number 1, Holden Electric for $2,665. Any discussion?
So why wasn't this in the original bid?
It would have worked the way it was originally intended, but when they were designing it, they didn't necessarily look in the cabinet to see if they needed additional contactors in there. So it wouldn't be Holden's fault or even WSN's fault in terms of whether or not it needed it. It's just a preference that if one circuit breaker turns off, it's like the main circuit breaker in your house. If that goes, everything in your house turns off. We wanted to isolate them so that we had a number of different ones, so if one circuit breaker went, it didn't take down all the ones at once. On that.
So it wasn't required, but it was.
Wasn't required, but it's a good thing to have. It doesn't take
It was an
all.
add-on.
Yeah, it was an add-on. It doesn't
Did
take-
the other bidders, did they, no?
They strictly bid on the documents that were provided.
All in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
No.
sign.
I'm sorry, one no? That just
Van
counts,
Reese,
no?
Motion carried. Rental housing inspections, City of Lakes Inspection Service, City Administrator.
I'm not going to go back through everything as I did earlier. One of the things that we did talk about is we're receiving about $14,000 a year in license fees now. The proposal is for an $18,000 a year, or $1,500 a month to be going towards the City of Lakes inspections. As I said, this program has been in place for quite a long time, and it's a pretty good fund balance that has been built up because we continue to collect fees, but we haven't been really doing the work. So I mean, we've got a pretty substantial fund balance already built up. So that can more than cover this for a long time into the future. The request is, the recommendation is that the City Council end its relationship with Interstate Home Inspections LLC and retain the services of City of Lakes Inspections at a fee of $18,000 a year or $1,500 a month starting in February of 2015. With $320 a month from between now or as soon as we can, October perhaps, through January of 2015, with non-inspection items like code review be billed at $40 per hour with funding for these services to come from licensing fees. Just as a point of clarification or information, the fee that we were paying to the previous person was $39.50, or it was just within $1 or so of the $40. So, and that's from the fee is from 5 years ago. So, $40 an hour is the right number. So I just wanted to clarify that, just in case you had that question. That's the recommendation.
What's the wish of the council?
Mr. President, I so move for approval.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Hanford, second by Mayor Van Reese for the rental housing inspection. Any discussion?
So when they do these inspections, Dan, do you know what they actually go in and look for, or what they?
Well, it's going to be life safety things. I don't know all of it, obviously, because I'm not a building official, but it's gonna be smoke detectors, it's gonna be screens on windows, it's gonna be making sure it has heat, it has good water, the toilet facilities, I mean, all of those things.
Electrical isn't hanging from the ceiling.
All of those things.
Egress
Light
windows.
switches are covered. You know, if there's GFIs that are required, I'm not sure, but it's pretty substantial.
Even if there's mold buildup in the basement, check for that.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Resolution 2014-58, proposed 2015 levy.
You had this information in front of you, and I just want to be clear that the staff's not advocating 14% levy increase. I do want to just point out that, again, that you know, the 13.74, any up to that amount is a flat rate, which is obviously pretty a great thing that we have. We've got some room. I just wanted to point out too that last year the city itself lowered its tax rate by 9.6%. That's according to the county, and that's just the city share. But when you add the school district and the county on, that amount went to 11.6%. So you just about had a 12% rate reduction last year. Again, even if you went up to the 13.74%, you wouldn't be raising that rate any further. But again, you guys, the council can pick what number it would like. If it's 0% or if it's the 13.74% or anything in between. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But know that even if you said it was a 10% increase, you're actually lowering it by 3.74.
I would like to see us go up to 3.74. The reason why is this is not cut in stone. It gives us some working room.
At 13.74, you mean?
Yeah, 13.74. We might allow for a few items to come in, like a $12,000 thing towards parks, which we don't get a whole lot every year anyway. But anyway, I would like to see it there, and then let the general public know that it's not that I'm voting on a 3.74 increase, because this is just basically our cap. We're as high as we can go.
You can't go any higher.
And we're setting at that. We can always go behind and drop it, so that's what I would like to see.
Is that a motion or?
Well, what's everyone else's input? I can make that a motion.
I'll second it.
That's the brown line, the 13.74.
G.
So that's,
That would be the resolution option 2 that I laid out on your desk tonight.
Thing is, we can always go down.
I'm afraid that mysterious blog post is gonna make it look ugly.
Let it
Well,
go.
don't worry about that. We're not
Trust
trying
me, I'm
to,
not.
we're just putting that there as a cap. And as far as what's happened in recent years, we've went below that. So maybe we can do it again.
so resolution 2014-58 is for 13.74%? Is that what I'm hearing now?
That's my motion.
Motion and a second.
We got a motion by Councilman Goshek, second by Councilman Hanford for resolution 2014-58 of setting a levy at 13.74 and go down from there, hopefully. So roll call, please.
Yeah, discussion.
Any discussion?
The green does not include the enforcement officer and the street improvements, is that correct?
Correct. And nothing's been set in stone. We haven't done our budget, so obviously when we go through and do the budget, we'll look at all of those options, and then the council will decide what's in, what's out, how we're gonna fund that, so.
Well, the thing is, every year, we're looking for more, grabbing from the general to take. If we're gonna do something, we want to budget for it and put it in there.
Well, there's a number of things that are coming up. Obviously, you've heard from your city engineer about the street needs and the utility needs that are out there. Obviously, we have utility funds for both the street needs. We have a need for, you know, your police chief's been talking about community service officer, whether that's a sworn for position or what it might be. You also have a situation with my position. I mean, I'm planning on probably being here after 2015 and as that goes. So at some point, you've got a pretty big increase in if you have someone in this position full time compared to what, probably triple what you're paying or budgeting for so you've got some things coming up is all I'm saying.
So resolution, any more discussion? Call roll, please.
Doucette?
Yes.
Van Ryslingham?
Yes.
Flinker?
No.
Crowder?
No.
Boyum?
No.
Handler?
Yes.
Bushick?
Yes.
Fails. Oh no, I'm sorry, it passes
Passes.
4-3. Sorry, mistake. Yeah.
The additional items you have there now, the next item is the resolution on the Housing Redevelopment Authority levy. There's a series of items here.
Yeah. Resolution 2014-59 is Housing and Redevelopment Authority levy, 80,000. Are those, no, if we vote on the 80, we can still lower that, we can't go up.
Correct, and the HRA levy is a percentage of the taxable market value is what we're allowed to levy, and this would be the amount.
What's the wish of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Goshek, second by Mayor Van Ryslingham for resolution 2014-59 for the Housing Redevelopment Authority levy of 80,000. Any discussion?
What kind of fund balance is in there?
I don't recall right offhand, I want to say it's a couple $100,000. The HRA does have plans to start using some of that money now to buy some blighted properties or unbuildable lots, non-conforming lots, and combine them with others. So we've got 2 projects we're working on right now.
Roll call, please.
Van Ryslingham?
Yes.
Flinker?
Yes.
Crowder?
No.
Boyum?
No.
Handler?
No.
Bushick?
Yes.
Doucette?
Yes.
Carries 4-3.
Next item is the 2015 resolution on the 2015 budget. Obviously, we've got to bring your budget before you, but what it does is sets the public hearing for the budget levy, and the recommendation is Monday, December 1st, 2014 at 7:30 in the council chambers.
No, we have resolution 20,014-60 first, doesn't it? For the proposed budget.
Yeah, I see that.
So
I'm sorry.
this is the proposed budget. We aren't any under restrictions as far as, these numbers can go up and down based on our funding, but these are potentially what we believe our general fund, special revenue, and enterprise budgets will be.
What's the wish of the council?
First, I make a motion to approve resolution 2014-60.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Hamper, second by Mayor Van Ryslingham for resolution 2014-60. Any discussion?
Yeah, is this reflected in that 13.74%
Yes,
increase?
yes.
Roll call, please.
Flinker?
Yes.
Crowder?
No.
Boyum?
No.
Handler?
Yes.
Bushick?
Yes.
Doucette?
Yes.
Van Ryslingham?
Yes.
Carries. Public budget meeting, December 1st.
Sorry, got ahead of myself. I already flipped that one over, I guess it was wishful thinking. December 1st is the recommendation for the a public hearing. You need to set that at this point. Gives the county the time to get the notice and the date, time, location on the statements that are going to be going out sometime prior to the end of November. So we need to set the public hearing December 1 as a recommendation at 7:30.
What's the wish of council?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Doucette, second by Mayor Van Riesian for the public budget meeting on December 1st, 2014. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2014-61, National Joint Powers Alliance Innovation Funding Splash Pad.
In front of you this evening, we kind of touched on it a little bit in the work session. We'll be looking at the NJP. They've got a funding program out there for grants. And like I indicated earlier, they have $250,000 to spread amongst everyone within Region 5. And so tonight we're looking at basically input from the council on how they want to proceed and if they would like us to proceed going after these funds. We would recommend passing this resolution and setting a dollar amount to request from NJPA.
What's the wish of the council?
Mr. President, I so move.
Second.
Got a motion by Mayor Van Riesian, second by Councilwoman Doucette for resolution 2014-61.
Discussion, please. What kind of dollar amount we're looking for?
I would recommend $100,000. I think if you go after anything more than that, you're going to be, sort of speak, pricing yourself out of a grant. That's not to say $100,000 is a small chunk of change because it's quite a bit of money, but yet it's still a good chunk of their money as well. So we'd be looking at, also having to commit some funds towards this project if we go after, if we get that $100,000 from NJPA.
See, my question is, if they give us $100,000 and we even match it, that's $100,000 from our coffers, that's $200,000, and we still can't come up with the $200,000 left over to complete the project. Where are we standing at that point?
Well, I mean, in terms of the splash pad, if I recall correctly, we kind of had two areas broken out. We had one for larger kids, 5 to 12, and one for smaller kids that were 0 to 5-year-old. We could break the splash pad up in terms of what is used. I would have to look at the equipment. The equipment would obviously have to be sized for both of them. And I don't have that dollar amount on how much each portion of it would work, but I would say if you give us a limit of $200,000, if we match it, we would be able to get something in there for that $200,000. Right now I can't tell you exactly what it would look like, but I'm sure that we can come up with something in there.
Basically, we're voting to give $100,000 to the splash pad.
Is there any in-kind involved in this? I mean, is it kind of a...
There is in-kind. They're asking for obviously the total project amount. So I mean, if we were to say, yes, they're looking at everything, in-kind as well as cash, that the city is putting into it, as well as any other funding components to it. So if, for instance, Morrison County was going to give something, they'd be looking at that as well. So they want to know all of the partners, how much everyone's contributing, and to make sure that it's a positive project for the region.
Didn't you say they need us by tomorrow?
They need it by tomorrow, yes.
We could always deny taking it later, right? So,
Yeah.
there was a motion, I guess.
Any more discussion?
I think we just need to try, see what happens.
Resolution, please. Call roll.
Crowder,
No.
Boyan,
Yes.
Hanford,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Doucette,
Yes.
Van Rissingham,
Yes.
Klinker.
Yes. Carries.
You have a late night?
Now, item N. Should staff go to the service clubs to talk about the 0.5% sales tax? We talked about it at the work session, people.
Well, I would move that, Dan, and staff, designated staff would go out and educate the public on the sales tax.
Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Mayor Van Riesam, second by Councilwoman Doucette. Is there any discussion?
Yes, as I had mentioned earlier, I personally would like to see us and the city out of it, in that I believe that this came to us from a committee within the city, and we said, okay, let the people decide, but you people have to do the grunt work, so to speak. I think the responsibility of that group is to explain to people what the whole situation is, and I'm afraid that if the city becomes involved, we're going to be looked as advocates for it, which I think is perhaps inappropriate.
Any more discussion? Can we call a roll on this one?
I was gonna say something. Seems like parks are a bad word lately. You know, even trying to get $12,000 for, I walk around this town, I look at some of our parks, they're not mowed, we have high grass that we don't take care of in property we own, yet we expect the public to mow their lawns and make that look good. And it's kind of a confusing place. The city does want parks when I talk to people, especially out in that area. They want some of these because other communities close by. So I feel educating the public that this might be one way this can be achieved makes a lot of sense to me. We're not taking money out of our coffers to build parks or improve on parks. We have no other way to do it. So either we do one or two things here. Either we go out and we tell the community we're supporting them, or we shut up about parks and we never bring it up again, and we let them all die and sit the way they are. That's my opinion. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, and the community's of the opinion that this council and the councils previous to us do not support the kids in the community because of the way things do look. And as Frank had mentioned, you know, I went through and took pictures of every park, and you've got tennis courts and basketball courts and playground equipment that was there when I was a kid that's totally illegal, which somebody may get in trouble for, and nobody wants to do anything about it. You guys don't want to advance yourselves and move forward on this. And like Frank said, then we just need to shut up and turn it all back to grass and let it all go.
We have guests that come from out of town that can't believe what a beautiful town we live in and what beautiful parks we do have. I don't think we realize how fortunate we really are. We just want more and more and more.
And
We have a beautiful zoo.
Maple Island was a dump. And I have to say, the people that worked on it early on, there was a lot of volunteer people. I could say the mayor had a lot to do with it.
A lot of people had a lot to do with it.
I'm saying early on, the mayor had a lot to do with it. For 7 years, her family was out there with the people that were organized through Main Street and a few projects like that to make that place look better. There are a few places in town, Gamrot's one of them, that we could improve on that wouldn't cost our city a whole lot of money. That's what I'm saying. We need to offer opportunities for the people to go out there and do the same thing that happened in Maple Island and make it a nice place. We do have some nice parks, but it took a lot of work and it wasn't always with support from the council. So,
Mr. President, I just want to commend the people that have always given towards the parks, like the Dewey family. I mean, a lot of, the Maple Island Park would not have happened if it wasn't for the Dewey Trust. It's in the trust that only new parks can be used. That money can be used for new parks. But getting back to what the point at hand is, during the work session, I asked Dan, our city administrator, Dan Vogt, What happens if someone out in the community asks you how we're going to be funding the everyday operation of this project out north of town? And Dan said he had no answer to that. So just be prepared, if this does pass, be prepared for some tough questions that you will not know how to answer.
Be funded like our other parks came about. The people are in support, they will be funded.
Well, and I think Greg has addressed, even like the splash pad, that how that, it's the city water, and it's, the potential, and that's gonna be the cost out there, is the water.
Right.
But it's coming from the city, it goes back to the city, I don't know why the city should have to pay itself for its water. And like I said, and I've said this before, you guys, we came with money, we put up $20-some thousand this last year for the golf course, because we all felt that that was important. And one thing about this park, I believe it is important, and the playground out there has proven that. The kids in this town love it, the parents love it, they spend hours and hours and hours out there.
But one thing you said that I don't agree with is you said the city doesn't do anything for our youth, and we give how many thousands of dollars to community service? 30-some thousand dollars. The golf course, they let the kids come out there and golf for nothing on Mondays and Tuesdays they have balls. I think the city does quite a bit for the youth. The youth don't do nothing for themselves. I look back at the North End playground. When I was a kid, that was all dirt because we played on it every day. You go by there now and it's all grass. Nobody plays on it anymore. Kids don't do their own things. They want to be entertained.
Well, and one thing about community service and the golf course, that, all that costs money, and a lot of families can't afford that now.
So this is gonna be free out there?
The playground and the splash pad, yeah. At this point, that's kind of what we've all been discussing.
Well, we got a motion on the floor. Any more discussion?
Does this include the trails?
The sales tax, yes.
We got a motion by Mayor Van Reesing and a second by Councilwoman Doucette. So the staff can go out and talk to service clubs. You want to call a roll on this one?
One quick question first.
Okay.
Chris is so gung-ho on going out and promoting this. So she's not the city employee, so she can go out and
Do it on her own.
preach or whatever she wants to on her own, which is perfectly fine if that's what she wants to do. Correct?
Mhm.
Does she have to be unbiased also?
I'm sorry?
Does she have to stay neutral?
Why would she? She's not a city employee.
But a city employee would though.
Yeah, we're not working on behalf of the city.
It's just the more people that can get out there in this short of time, the better.
Let's educate them so they have a better understanding of what the whole vote is about. That's the important part.
So another question, has this passed the legislature even beyond the ballot yet?
No, the legislature requires the voters to vote on it before they
even look at it?
Yeah, because if it's voted down, then they don't waste their time.
Why don't you call roll, please?
William,
No.
Hanfler,
Nope.
Bushik,
Yes.
Doucette,
Yes.
Van Ryssingham,
Yep.
Clinker,
No.
Crowder.
No.
Fails.
Fails.
Mr. Chairman, I hate to go back through an old scab here, but we're just talking because we're missing a person. We have a 4-3 vote. The missing persons, for some reason, in this community, I've never dealt with this before, is a no vote.
Well, that's what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, so you've got, you don't
There
have
was
a
another
levy.
vote.
You don't have a levy,
Levy.
you've got
We don't have a levy.
4-4 vote.
That I was confused by that.
Thank you. It's like I said, it's different here than what I'm used to, so.
So then what happens with the levy? We'll start next week all over again?
No, you're not.
Come up with a different number.
October, so you gotta do it tonight, or you gotta have a special meeting.
I thought I asked him.
Pick a number that another one of you can agree on.
Well, the way I'm looking at it, go as high as you can. I probably wouldn't vote in favor of anything above 6% personally, but.
Well, the thing is, at 13.74, it's a 0% increase.
I know it is.
And it gives us some room to work to go down.
I understand, why
So,
we voted down, but it's just, it gives us some moving, it gives us the ability to actually sit down and look at the budget and figure out what we really need instead of limiting ourselves even before we vote on it. You know, if we put it at 6%, find out we really needed 7.2% to even operate as a city, but we've taken away that room.
and if we never
I don't
seven
think
through, it's
that's
still a
correct.
6% decrease.
And I'm just looking at put it high so that you have some room, and then you can always drop it.
So we're looking for an answer, or we're looking for another motion?
I think right now the vote's failed.
It's failed.
The way you counted it, I mean, I know the way you count it. See, I dealt with a similar situation with 8 members in Brainerd, but the mayor didn't vote. The mayor didn't vote, the mayor didn't make motions, the mayor didn't do this. So that's why I'm not familiar with your 4-4. And then when someone isn't there, I mean, it wasn't counted as a no vote. It was just counted as a non-vote.
Lori
It
knows
ended
though.
up 3-3.
That's what I've been trying to look, and I just went back, and if you are absent, it does count as a no vote.
Yeah.
So, I knew that was true for
So right now
ordinances,
it's-
but not sure on
Those
resolutions.
those
but it
2
did.
resolutions failed. They're set at a 4-4, so.
So either we come up with a different number, or we have a special meeting.
Well, the ones who voted no, come up with a number. Mr. Crowder?
I'm not.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know budget.
Crazy. You know, Jeremy, I have to I want to ask you a question. You act like it's a zero, basically, explain what your comment was again.
It's a 0% increase on your tax dollar.
Right, but then Lori, what did you say about how it's really, the
It's on
value?
your tax value on your home. So if
So
your
you-
home goes up 10,000, your taxes, of course, are gonna go up 10,000. But if they go down 10,000, your taxes are going down 10,000. So if you're paying 3% tax on your house, it's gonna stay 3%, whatever your tax value is. It's not gonna go up to 20% or 15%. It's gonna stay at your 3%.
And we're not voting on
We're not voting to pass a
locking it in at that anyway.
13% levy.
It's just giving us some working room, that's all this is.
What do you want, Brad? Come up with a number. You're always a no vote, so let's get a number from you.
We got a number from you, let's get it.
Let's hear it.
I'm
Negative 20?
I am for 0%.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we all voted 0%, Brian, what would happen?
We'd have to actually be like normal Americans that live within their budget, Kathy, instead of having
But
pie in the
You gotta come
sky.
to the budget meetings to know that.
Oh, really? That is
Well-
absolutely not true. You say some whoppers, Kathy, and that is not
Well,
true.
0% is not, if we voted 0% now, what would happen?
Maybe can we have, we gotta have, what, how often we gonna do this?
Special meeting.
You gotta do it by the end of the month. You got until September 30th.
Well, I think we should have a special meeting, and then you get Greg here, so we get everybody, because if, we're never gonna agree, because you got a no vote right there. Because he's not here.
So we can agree. We
What
can't
is
get
it
five
you're not agreeing on, that the cap should be at 8% or 6%? Do you want it at 0%?
We started at 8. Warren, do you got an idea what you wanna do?
As you look at item E, at 6.5%, it says that it's the potential levy with no increase in tax rate / annexation. What does that mean?
That was based on, the county didn't have their abstracts done yet, so based on the 2014, the city's 2014 tax capacity and the area that we were going to, or that we annexed, we could increase it 6.5% and not have a tax rate increase based on the 2014 numbers. We now have the 2015 numbers. Based on those numbers, we could go up to the 13.74% and not have a tax rate increase. And that's because of the annexation and increased valuations of property within the city limits.
So that
that is then based upon the annexation of indicating there are more people
The-
pay taxes?
More properties, more taxable property, and then tax values having increased within the city limits.
So this here's your 2014. Now we're at 2015 numbers, and that's the same deal with a zero increase in the tax rate. Now we have the actual numbers. This is a guess on 2014, that's your 2015.
When we originally talked about it, the county did not have their abstract done yet. They didn't have the 2015 numbers available. Those became available on Friday.
Well, and the thing of it is it's not the levy. This is not the set in stone levy. This just gives us the ability to sit down and start working on our budget. We can, we find out we don't need all that, then we bring it down to what we need it for. And it may end up coming down to the, 6.5%, but if we start at the 6.5, we start looking at that budget and think, well, crime and need, you can't do this, you can't do that, you gotta give this, give that, and all of a sudden, we're not operating the city properly.
We haven't even heard what the needs are of the city is the point I'm trying to make. How can we set it real low right now? It'd be nice to at least look at it and then decide what we can get by with or without.
Well, that's the difficulty, in that we don't know that.
That's why if I felt you set it high, at least that gives us a cap. And then we can look at it, and if it does have to go a little bit above 6-point-some%, at least we have a little room. But once we set it, if we set it at zero like Brian would, that cuts us off right now. Why even have a budget meeting, All we can do at that point is go in and say slash this and this and this and this. And
Well, one thing that we had talked about last year and the year before is that our debt levy requirements will be dropping after next year.
If we do nothing for improvements.
After next year. So that means that we hold off another year, that will open up some other things that we can possibly do without increasing that debt levy.
that could be part of our discussion when we work on the final budget and we vote on it.
And it's also a case where if we suddenly have 13.74% announced as an increase, I think of all the people that have said, and they know in their hearts, that we as a council raised our sales tax 5%. Because we are talking about 0.5.
We're not establishing that right now.
And so it's a case where that level of misunderstanding can become rather chaotic.
Then boy, how happy they're gonna be when we vote on it for the final budget and it comes in at a lot lower, shows them we have more sense than what they initially thought.
I'm not up for election, but you see, we're not voting on that final one until later on after the election.
So we're making our choices on an election, not on using sensibility.
Well, that's a nice thought, and I truly hope that that is
Sorry?
true.
And just so you know, you don't have to do the amounts that are here. You guys can say you want a 7% or an 8% or a 7.5%, and we'll back the numbers out based on the percentage increase that you want to see. These are examples for you, to discuss. But if the 6.5 is too low and the 13.74 is too high, do 7, do 8, do 9,
So can I make a motion? At 10%?
Second.
So at 10%, that'd actually be a 3% decrease from last year.
No, we all,
Is there a second?
Yeah, I did.
there was. But now we all have to agree with this. How many has to?
5.
5? Okay, so, okay. We got a motion by
Five to
Councilman
pass.
Hampler and second by Mayor Van Ryssingham for put our levy at 10%. Now you can call the roll.
Hampler,
Yes.
Bushik,
Yes.
Doucette,
Yes.
Van Ryssingham,
Yes.
Clinker,
Yes?
Crowder,
No.
Boyum,
Darn, the system works, yeah.
Hope you're that hard when it comes to the final one.
No, we're
Hope you're that
going
hard when it comes to the final.
wait.
Oh.
HRA is.
HRA one.
HRA.
HRA levy.
What was last year's?
I was trying to think, I think it was like
61?
70,000, 72 maybe, 70 or 72.
Yeah, it kind of goes according to what the state estimates, and you can only go up to that certain percentage. That would be the top percentage if we want to deal with blight issues and that. We have been holding back money because we didn't want to spend it all out, find out that maybe some issue would arise that we might have to use it, but now the consideration is clean up some of the blight issues in town. That's what that money is designated towards from the state. Gives the cities some way to make some funds to take care of blight issues. So the discussion is to try to deal with some of them things right now. We were talking about Northeast and the Little Falls having crack houses and issues. Some of these homes are getting real bad, and the problem is the people who own them don't live there, and they rent them out to people that can't afford anything else, and usually they become
Very abused.
they're used in bad ways. Even if we have a new inspector coming through and checking some of these homes, it wouldn't surprise me to see some of these are probably condemned. So it would be nice to have a little money there to do that. Like Lori was saying, there's maybe a couple $100,000 in right now.
Correct.
I think to my memory, that's about what I thought was there. And if you add 80,000, that gives us $280,000, which we're probably not going to spend it all out because we need to have some in there. But this takes care of some of the blight issues in town. Are we going to deal with them, or are we just going to forego them? So my recommendation is vote the HRA levy through, so we can do some work.
Is that a motion?
That was my original motion.
I'll second it.
Do it again.
Well, I think if you're gonna do the same resolution, you're reconsidering the first one. So your motion is to reconsider.
Reconsider.
Then there'd be a second, and then you vote on reconsideration. Okay, now we'll reconsider that, and you re-vote on what you did.
Okay.
That's why you're getting the big bucks here.
Well, yeah. You gotta reconsider first.
Oh,
Now, if you had said it at some different number, of course, you wouldn't have to go through this regular roll, but you gotta reconsider your original motion first.
Make it a little easier. I'll make a motion to take it at $78,000 versus the 80,000.
I'll second that.
Don't they have to withdraw their first motion?
I was supposed to reconsider, I didn't do it right. So the first motion wasn't a motion.
So you you withdrew it and you made a new one.
Yes.
And Mayor withdrew
Yes.
her and she made a new one. So HRA levy at $78,000. I think we discussed it enough. Let's vote on
Bushik,
Yes.
Doucette,
Yes.
Van Ryssingham.
Yes.
Clinker.
Yes.
Crowder,
No.
Boyum,
Yes.
Hampler.
Yes.
Sorry for you.
That's fine, it worked.
So that carries. Now we got any more of those things? Any reports?
I would like to, I've got 3 different issues here. First of all, I had a complaint when they did the run at the golf course last week or the week before, the Myronelli run, and somebody had said that there are many dead oak trees out at the golf course right now. They suspect it's potentially blight. Felt it was probably crucial to make sure that that is not the problem out there and check into it so all those trees don't die, which would basically destroy the golf course. What's happening also, they said, is that when they're taking these trees down and the shrubs and the brush and stuff, they're making a massive pile.
Yep, I learn it every year.
And it's just huge, and they feel that that staying there is, if it's got blight or something in it, oak wilt or whatever that is, it's in that pile close to these trees, that the potential then of contaminating the other trees is higher. So that's one thing. The next thing is looking at the cities, the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. They have funding available for Greater Minnesota Parks and Trails projects. The Department of Natural Resources has announced that. Could we have tried for that for the parks as far as the trails and stuff out of the...
Again, it has to have the regional significance to it, so we can. I believe the 25th is when that one is due, yeah.
So I guess I would like to see us try for some of these and not let them pass this up like this. I mean, there's grants out there, and I'd like to see us go after those. Another thing I have, and I'm going to be asking for a clarification in this, where a policy is developed. We have talked about this for several years. Different council people coming up and asking for requests. And for the last couple of years, I know that we had all voted or stated a while ago, I don't know if it was voted, apparently a policy wasn't developed, that if a request is made by a council member, that those pieces of information need to be shared with the rest of the council. I requested additional information on the garbage this last week, and I requested that the council receive a copy of that. But I was told that I could not see it until the rest of the council saw it. I was able to look at it today while Lori held it. And so I would like to have an understanding of that. Where is there a policy on all of the data for the city council? And I would like that to be put on the next council agenda, please.
Anything else?
Yeah, question, water main break was on Main Street?
Yep.
We now got blacktop curb and gutter? Is that permanent, or is
No.
that some kind of temporary fix?
That was temporary to get us through arts and crafts. It will get concrete in there once we get around to doing it, but yeah, that's just temporary.
Okay.
3rd Street project, what avenues are we doing?
3rd Avenue to 4th Avenue.
3rd to 4th,
Yeah.
okay. And the other, is 2nd Avenue done?
2nd Street is done, and 4th Avenue is done already.
Okay, so, but on 3rd Street, what about, okay, because I know you guys did up to, for instance, Little Mirror Home. Now from that point on, it's not done?
We're
So
doing.
is that gonna be all that done? It's not tore up right now, so I'm.
If it's not tore up, we're not working on it. It's only
Okay.
from 3rd to 4th.
So you kind of missed 2 blocks in there?
Yeah.
And then you started on the other one. Was there a reason for that?
We had to do the deeper sanitary sewer first, and then
And
work
then,
around that.
okay, I had some homeowners that were really upset about it, so I just need to be able to explain it to them. All right, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I had one other thing to add. I was approached at HPC today by some of the friends of Linden Hill who sent us all an invitation. This was not just to go to the city council, it was go to all city staff, the water, streets, police department, sheriff's department, fire department staff, to invite them to their event that's coming up on this Thursday at 5 o'clock. It's a gathering of their friends. They're going to be picking up the cost of this, and we're all invited out there. But today was the deadline for the RSVPs, and they haven't heard from any of us. And so they asked me to check.
I was the one that went last year.
So you're going this year again?
No, I'm gonna be gone out of town, sorry.
Anyone else? They want to.
I am going, and I did let them know, and I'm bringing potato salad.
We all got that in our packet.
Lauren,
Brian, going?
I have obligations elsewhere.
Jeremy?
I guess I didn't RSVP, I'm probably not going.
Well,
Is
they
there
were
only
just
babysitters
wondering why
and
nobody
RSVPs?
had the audacity to respond to them. And the rest of the staff, the rest of the departments, apparently it was brought up that someone from the Friends did not notify the
Greg has
city.
something back to you.
I did not, this is the first I heard about it.
So we're invited.
Oh, hang on.
I heard that motion.
Chief?
Done.
Did somebody make a motion?
Okay.
No, we got Greg over here,
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mayor.
that's okay.
I was not at the meeting where my end of the year report was presented. I apologize for that, and I will take the blame. I did turn it over to Wendy, and the error was my fault. If anyone has any questions about the report, I would be more than happy to answer that for you, or an email or anything. I can address any questions or concerns. So.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, before we adjourn, I wanted to indicate, we had that large rain event last Wednesday. We've noticed an increase, significant increase in the flow coming to our wastewater plant, so make sure that the sump pumps are not discharging into the sanitary sewer. We do have a city ordinance that prohibits that, so if you are, make sure it goes outside your house and onto the lawn as opposed to the sanitary sewer.
How are we gonna get that word out?
We will be sending letters.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Hey, guys.